Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Coffee with Carl. I'm your host, Carl Zoellner. I'm one of the attorneys with Anderson Business Advisors. And today I want to address a question that comes up with a lot of my foreign clients. My foreign clients pretty consistently will ask me, well, what, Carl, okay, thank you for structuring me and getting me tax wise for the US, but what about my foreign investments? So, unfortunately, the answer is going to be a very attorney one in that it depends with foreign investments. Depends on a few different factors. Number one is, does the U.S. have a tax treaty with your foreign country? You know, the foreign country that you're talking about or in. A lot of times that's India. I've seen Pakistan, Mexico, the EU, Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong. I guess we can consider that part of Asia, but ultimately there's some different rules for those different areas. So it's important to work locally when you start talking about local asset protection plans because there's no reason to believe, unless there's a treaty in place, that somehow one of these countries will also respect the American form of the business entity. So what I would say is if I was a foreign individual looking to structure my foreign assets as well, a couple things to consider is you probably need a local trust wherever those assets are, as well as some sort of local asset protection plan as well. Most places I would say that I've seen have some version of kind of what Anderson Advisors does. However, what they do is a lot of times they don't have like LLCs or necessarily corporations, but they will have things like trusts that offer asset protection. That's sort of the old world way of entity structuring, was trusts over business actual entities. We in the United States converted that basically when we stopped being an English colony and did some of the trust stuff still, but mostly then converted over time until 1970s when the LLC was created in Wyoming in order to be able to basically suit our needs. So I would say that's kind of the general rule of advice when it comes to foreign assets is you're going to have to work within the sort of the lines of the box that the foreign country draws, but there usually is some local options as far as estate planning as well as asset protection. You would just need to speak with somebody and then ultimately just sort of wear your skeptical hat, because ultimately if you're working with us you sort of know the guidelines or sort of what you're looking for or want to see when it comes to those things as far as anonymity and protection and things like that. It'll just be, like I said, most likely be called something different, as well as it could take a form of a trust or something, where in the US we don't give trusts a ton of protection qualities, but ultimately there's some versions of that from foreign individuals that do. So don't be shocked and amazed if somebody tells you that's what they do locally. I would just say make sure to have your things organized locally, as well as, or try to do it as well as we will do in the US side for you. So ultimately, dealing with income from those investments as well can be a challenge. So we'd also expect you to know that coming in and expect you to work with somebody locally as well on what the tax implications are. Because just for a quick example, Canada, for whatever reason, chooses to be very difficult in this manner. So we've got to structure our Canadian clients different than how we structure our American based clients. So our US based clients, I should say. So I wouldn't, like I said, I don't suppose I actually know that's not different, know that's different from country to country. So, like I say, it's sort of incumbent upon the individual with the investment to do a little research. But like I said, there's really is quite a few parallels out there in most countries, including EU countries as well, which are sort of notorious for being a little bit more complex than they need to be. But from a tax and asset protection standpoint, for most part, they're pretty straightforward. So we can help you. We can always help you look or take a look. But ultimately, like I say, it's sort of incumbent upon the investor to do the research. Anderson is happy to help you domestically, but internationally at the moment, we don't have a ton of options out there for you. But don't let that deter you from investing in the US or investing abroad. That's just more of an FYI so that we can deal with it together on the front end, and what Anderson can do and what we're currently not in the market to do at the moment. So once again, want to thank everybody. This is another episode of Coffee with Carl, and we'll catch you on the next one. So thanks, everyone.